Hey yo! Magic the Gathering has 1,000 things that's super cool about it. One of the things that I want to focus on is the artwork. Whenever you're opening a pack, playing the game, talking about the game with friends, inevitably the artwork comes up and is a big part of the game, and that's seriously what makes most of the game so recognizable. And it's the artwork. There's a lot of time and a lot of thought that goes into a particular piece. It has to match with the flavor text, it has to match with the ability, it definitely has to match with the name. Thought about this myself. I'm no artist, but you know, when I see a card, sometimes I go, I wonder what I would have thought of in this situation. Day of Judgment, for example. How would I try to illustrate that? And sometimes the artist seems to just absolutely nail it. And sometimes the artist gets really close, and there's some card text that just really isn't that exciting. I would assume it's difficult to illustrate a 1/1 creature that that has lifelink, and that's it. That's cool by itself, but sometimes I imagine the order is hard to fulfill in that regard. I want to spend some more time just focusing on the art itself because I think it's worth it, and it's the reason why foils and fractal foils and Japanese style and full art and all of the different variations of the cards are so exciting is because of the art. It just wouldn't work otherwise. And so I don't know what to call this series. All I know is that I want this to be an art spotlight and it be a top 10 of each card in a specific set that I think are worth calling out. For this particular video, we're going to focus on MTG foundations. All right, a few items that we should go over real quick before we jump in. Disclaimer, this is all subjective and opinion only. I respect every single artist that has contributed to the Magic the Gathering, and I'm just having fun ranking what I think is the coolest art for a particular set. So no hard feelings. Everyone that has contributed is awesome. I would put any art piece of any card in Magic the Gathering's history on my wall, period. Any piece of art that has ever been made for this game, I would be happy to put on my wall. I'll leave it at that. Reprints are included. There's nothing excluded in that regard. I know there's a lot of different variations with full art, borderless, fractal, Japanese style, etc. If a card falls into any of those categories, that's great. But Japanese and fractal foils fall in the same category for me, so I know that's a big item for foundations. Just wanted to call that out. The card's ability does not play a factor in my ranking, but relevancy and context do, as well as flavor text, although it's a bit trivial. I think though, when all three match up and synchronize, it makes the card even better. So there's a little bit of extra weigh in on that. It shouldn't matter and it doesn't, but I know that's an aspect to the artwork that has to be fulfilled and it should be considered. With that, let's jump right in. Coming in at number 10, I've selected Refute. The artist is Ignatius Buddy. I am so sorry if I got that name wrong. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I apologize. But one thing I do know is that you designed an amazing card here. The essence of the card is a counterspell, and I think the artwork captures that really well. This bird is pissed off. Whatever it is you think you're going to pull off, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You got to get through this guy. And owls are cool. I have a soft spot for owls. I don't know why, they're just cool. I mean, who doesn't like owls? All right, next we have Perforating Artist, Arif Wijaya. What the heck? Arif Wijaya. Arif Wijaya? Arif Wijaya. Arif Wijaya. Even though I can't pronounce your name, it's there on the screen and on the card. I definitely feel like things are getting perforated, if you will. Those are some really cool daggers, or whatever you want to call those. I would call them daggers. There's just a lot to like about this card. I think the flavor text, the first 3 rows of the audience are marketed as the slash zone. That plays into the artwork really well, and I think they just did a really good job. All right, we have our first non-creature card, Genesis Wave. It's a sorcery, and the artist is Liga Smilskaln. I swear I'm getting trolled. Or I just am illiterate. I can read, I promise. When I try to put myself in the shoes of the artist and trying to come up with the artwork for something like this, I honestly wouldn't really know where to start, but I think they captured this perfectly, especially in a full art. Okay, next we have Bloodthirsty Conqueror. This is designed by Alexander Mokov, one of the two. Either way, I'm wrong. Bloodthirsty Conqueror is a creature vampire knight. It's so fun to look at. When I think of a vampire, this is what I want to see. It's crazy that this isn't a legendary. This looks like it could be a commander. It's not. That's just what makes it even better. The fact that this isn't even legendary, the artwork certainly is. Next, we have A Braid by Tyler Walpole. You know, I'm almost having as much fun reading these names as I am looking at and enjoying the art. This card's been around. We've seen it. Most people have seen this card. This is such a beautiful card, especially red. I love red cards. A lot of times I feel like red, you see a lot of, for some reason, pink. Just, it comes across pink. The gradients that are used, I don't know. This card does really well as an instant cast, showcasing the actual card text itself, which I think is extra points. You know, you're either dealing damage or you're destroying artifacts. Just look at the artwork. I mean, that shows what's happening. There's so much motion. There's so much, there's just so much going on with this, and I love it. I think this is definitely one of the top 10 cards in the set. Next, we have a fun one, Sylvan Scavenging by Quentin Gleim. Really, really cool card. This is fun. My daughter saw this and immediately just made her smile. This card's a lot of fun. It's super cute. Anytime you see a frog doing something, it's gonna make me laugh. The adventure side of what's going on here, you know, there's a lot going on the card text, and I think this encompasses that really well. All right, coming in at number 4, we have Rise of the Dark Realms by Jorge or George Jacinto, I assume. Jorge Jacinto. This is a sorcery. I don't really have to say anything. Just look at this. This is freaking awesome. Put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. That's what's going on here. There's just an army of undead, and I'm all about it. I think this is super, super well done. Next, we have 9 Lives Familiar by Zabi Gatstelula. We've got a creature cat. And that's the beautiful thing about this card is it's just a cat. It's just a cat sitting on a tombstone. There's just more and more detail that jumps out that I appreciate. Extra points for the syncing up with the text. Curiosity stopped keeping score. I just love that. I felt like this fell into a top 3 situation. I don't want to say simplicity, because that's definitely not giving credit. The subject matter seems simple. It's just a cat, right? But it's just so beautiful. Next, we have Blasphemous Edict by Andrew Marr. This card is another good example of how to tie in with the text. 13 is the theme, with each player sacrificing 13, or if there are 13 or more cards on the battlefield. We've got Liliana on the flavor text. Across the board, just hits on all marks. Coming in at number 1 is Celestial Armor by Jose Barodi. Absolutely stunning. Someone painted this. This is just beautiful. It's an artifact equipment, and a lot of the times you see equipment, artifacts in general, and it's just real simple objects, as artifacts tend to be. In this case, we're talking about a whole armor set, and they took the time. Even the background has so much detail. It covers the celestial aspect, the armor, the equipment, so much to offer. And on top of it, the color choice is absolutely stunning. I just think this is the number 1 card outside of the Japanese style cards that we'll get into here in a little bit. Good job, Jose. This is perfect. I love this. Yes, here's the extra slot that we'll call it a bonus slot. We've got Japanese style, we've got fractal. Put them together. It's not fair. It's really not fair. And I couldn't pick between Land of War Elves and Day of Judgment. We have 2 different artists. I can try to say their names. Hisashi Momose and Tashiaki Takayama. I wanted to include all of the Japanese. I do think these stand out as the 2 best, and if I had to pick one, I kind of want to lean on Day of Judgment. Destroy all creatures. For Land of War Elves, that's such a staple. That's such a classic card. Land of War Elves has been done several times. Yeah, good job. Good job across the board. These are fun. I know these are super cool in person or on paper. I don't see these having any problem collecting fans. Good job. Last, I definitely want to include this as well. I don't know what to call this particular section of the series, but I think calling out cards that just don't make sense, or just something I just am not a fan of. Art doesn't have to be something that floats your boat. It can also be something that triggers you or angers you. And this doesn't necessarily anger me or anything. There really wasn't any card in the whole set of Foundations that I thought, oh my gosh, that just doesn't make sense. Faithless Looting. You know what card I'm talking about. Here we have another one that just doesn't make sense. It's too literal, I think, is why it bothers me. I feel like it's just, a bird wizard. It's let's make a person with a bird head. It is a legendary creature. That's cool. This could be your commander, but you know what? I think it's not my favorite card. That's what I think. I'm going to have to say this is my least favorite artwork of the set. Okay, that wraps it up. That was a lot of fun, and thanks for letting me give you my opinion on what I think is the best art in the set for Foundations. There's definitely a lot of cards that I couldn't include just because 10 is not enough. There's a lot of really, really great cards in the set. Please let me know what you think. I want to hear your opinion. We'll see you next time.